And I was thinking to myself, maybe I should go head out to a GameStop like while everybody's watching this because Sony, let's just start off with how it all happened up. And Mary, you actually signed up for it. So what did Sony say on your emails? Hello there, Internet, and welcome back to Geeky Ent. And on this episode, we are going to be discussing the next generation consoles. Which one should you buy, if any? Should you get the new Xbox Series One X or S? Should you get the new PlayStation 5? What should you get? What am I going to get? What is Mary going to get? We don't know, but we will be discussing that. So, Sony officially dropped the price points and the excuse me, the price points and the launch date, and it is pretty much where we expected it to be. So, as far as I know systems are going to be selling, and we found that out the hard way over the course of the
Exactly.
weekend. But it was about maybe I want to say about 2 months ago. Sony went ahead and gave about an hour and a half. What do they call it, like a Sony Live type
Uh,
show? I'm not too sure, but
yeah, we'll just call it that.
we had a previous video, and I'll drop a link down below for that video discussing what was shown from Sony. I believe there was some Microsoft stuff too as well, but Sony officially revealed the price points, the specs, everything that we are going to be expecting from this next generation console. And Mary, first of all, what are the two consoles and what are the price points and what color are they? Because they look pretty badass from my understanding.
I'm assuming you're referring to the PlayStation. So
Yes,
with the
not the
PlayStation, you
cube,
have the cubicle.
the
Okay,
cube.
yeah. But as far as with the PlayStation, you have both the digital version as well as the disc version. The color itself, unless they decide to release a special edition at some point, the color is white with a very, very sexy blue. But as we know with PlayStation, which they've done previously, which I'm sure they're going to do again, once some game comes out later that's like really big, they're probably going to release a special edition, especially since people are asking for a black version and this and that. So we'll see what happens in the future. But as of right now, the color is pretty much just white. But it is very sleek looking. The only downside is the dust and it getting dirty because of the dust. But other than that, it is very sleek and it looks very nice.
Yeah, it does look very nice, and I'm going to go ahead and show a picture right now for you guys. And it looks very futuristic in terms of what it is. It's got the blue trim. I'm sorry, not the blue trim, the blue LED trim with some black and white. For me personally, I don't have a problem with the white design just because it gives it a fresh new like look to it. All the PlayStation consoles have been either gray or black, and this is the first time that a console that can recall being a fresh, vibrant white. I know the Sega Dreamcast was a lighter gray. The classic NES was, a light dark gray, but this one was actually pretty good. So cosmetic wise, it looks great. So we are going to be, I think it's November 12th is when I know the Xbox and the PlayStation are being released within 2 days of each other.
Yeah, November
Um,
12th, the
November
official
12th for the
release date.
PlayStation 5, and there are two editions for this one. There's the physical edition, which allows you to play physical discs. That is at MSRP of $499 US dollars, and also the digital only version, which does not allow. I believe this one does not allow backwards compatibility, so you cannot play your PS4 disc titles. But I'm not too sure about the PSN titles going back. I do know that maybe you can chime in on this. I heard that if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you do get some perks for the PS5 that is
Um,
upcoming.
you do get perks, and from my understanding, The system itself, it is backwards compatible to an extent. So you will be able to play PS4 games, but it's not backwards compatible with PlayStation 1 through 3.
Correct. Yeah, I did notice that. And I mean, it's a huge bummer, but for video game collectors, it's not that much of a big deal because you actually do get to keep the consoles that you love and cherish uh, from out your whole entire lifetime. So it's not that big of a deal because one, they have to be upscaled. A lot of the TVs nowadays can't support that old type of resolution. I just recently picked up the new Mario 3D All Stars, and they did upscale those two out of, or actually three out of the three games on there. But it's if you were to play it back on the old GameCube or whatever, it's still not the graphics that it should be today in terms of when you upscale it, if you kind of get my drift. But we're not talking about the Nintendo Switch, we're talking about the PS5 and the Xbox here. So yeah, they released the price points, and let's talk about the good stuff.
Well, hold
The
on. I want to go further into what you were saying as far as with the backwards compatibility. If you really think about it in retrospect, it shouldn't be too much of an issue because if you think about it, when the PlayStation 4 first came out, we were expecting it to be backwards compatible, but it wasn't. So what Sony ended up doing was introducing, what was it, PlayStation Now, which they ended up the older games anyway, which if that's the case, you should still have that capability on the PlayStation 5 to just go through there and access it if you really want to. So it's not like there aren't ways around it. You know what I mean?
right, yeah, and to chime in on that too, it's when it comes, since we're talking about backwards compatibility, the Xbox Series, I believe both of them have the capability. No, not both of them, because the One S is like the digital version of the PlayStation 5, and then the One X is the bigger cube, which
Yeah.
has the disc compatibility. However, on both the disc versions, they are backwards compatible, so you can play your older titles. However, on the Microsoft version, from my understanding, is any old Xbox games that you have that's backwards compatible, it it basically pulls a copy of it digitally and it automatically upscales and renders it to the full resolution that it's capable of. So it's kind of like a digital copy with your physical disc. It's kind of weird how they did it, but it's the most efficient way to actually upscale the graphic resolution for your older video games. So that's a pretty cool feature to have on that stuff. But a lot of the big AAA titles, they do go ahead and get re-released via classic hits or whatnot. So
Exactly.
um, like Game of the Year editions, they always come back and get re-released. So for me, backwards compatibility is not that much of a big issue. For me, I still collect the physical editions or physical copies of games. So I want to go ahead and make sure that I can have that capability. So for me personally, I'd look at the physical copies. I'm sorry, the physical edition of the PlayStation 5. Not so much the Xbox, and that's pretty much a spoiler right there. For me, I'm not much of a Microsoft Xbox person just because the titles, the
They
titles
don't really
are
interest us.
they're not really that intriguing. I mean, there are a few of them, like Fable and, of course, Halo. There are a couple ones that are coming out for the new Xbox, but it's not enough for me to go out and purchase the new Xbox when I have a nice PC that can play all the Microsoft titles anyway. So for me, I can save myself the few $100s and actually just get the games via PC.
Exactly.
Um, so let's talk about, since I already talked about the consoles backwards, let's talk about the price points too. So one company did it very smart. The other one kind of dropped the ball, but we don't know what exactly happened. So for price points, we're just going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm going to go ahead and show a little graphic here. And 499 are the base price points for the physical editions of the Xbox Series One X and the PlayStation 5. Now, the difference is the digital versions, you are looking at a $400 price point for the PlayStation 5 digital only version. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Xbox Series One S is $299.99. So that's a pretty substantial difference. Now, we're not going to go into the whole tech, hard drive, graphics card, all that stuff, because they both are very similar, but they both did it their own way, per se. However, the Microsoft did make it more cost effective on the Xbox Series One S, which is the digital version, by cutting out corners and everything like that. But uh, there is one cool little feature that Microsoft did, and that is they're doing payment plans. Have you heard about that, Mary? In
I
terms of,
did.
so what exactly are you getting? It's kind of like, if you're familiar with the how the old mobile phones were sold back in the day before we adopted the Europe ways. It's basically, you're paying a monthly, you pay nothing up front. So that $500 or $400 price point, you're not paying that up front. However, you are locked into a 2-year lease,
Exactly.
essentially speaking, for an X amount of dollars. But you're not just getting the console itself, you're also getting a Games Pass. Now, this is
Yeah.
only for Microsoft. Sony, you have to spend the few $100s up front, whichever console you want, that's what you get. But Microsoft is doing a very smart marketing strategy, which I think they're going to sell quite a few of, this way, this method, especially with this year. In my opinion, like we mentioned in our earlier video, this is not the year to be dropping a new next gen console with the global situation. But this payment plan, I think, may get the actual units sold for Microsoft, maybe edge out Sony. I don't know, but um,
It might, for people looking to
it
buy
it might, it might.
gifts for their kids for Christmas. You never know.
Never know. But yeah, there are two different price points, and you do get the Microsoft Ultimate Games Pass, which I'm not too exactly sure what comes in it, but uh, Mary can chime in on what exactly that is. And it's a whole plethora of digital games, per se. So
Honestly, I hadn't looked into it either. Um, Maybe we'll reference that on the next video. Stay tuned.
possibly, yes. But I can tell you that there are two different price points, and I do remember it now. It is $24.99 a month for the digital version, and you get 2 years of Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, whatever it's called. Or for $34.99 a month, you can get the Xbox Series One X and get 2 years of Games Pass. So Games Pass, you have to break it down this way. If you are going to be purchasing a digital only console, people have the misunderstanding of, you are going to be getting, or you're going to be saving money over the course of, the years or whatever that you own the console, because you're buying digital only games. That is not the case. The only reason why you'd want to purchase a digital only console is to save shelf space, because a lot of games are sold full price digitally. The only benefits of having a digital only are, like I mentioned, you have the shelf space saved, or you also have, everything is right then and there. You don't have to get up off your couch and put in a disc or swap it out. You can just go ahead right from the console itself and start your game up. So that is two different things to consider when you're actually looking at digital versus physical copies. But you also got to consider this. I believe the Games Pass costs $15 a month. So with the console, let's just take the digital only version of the Microsoft console. You got a $300 console at $15 a month. So that's what, 300, and then it's, so strike that. You got $300 for your price point for the console itself, but you're not paying that. You're paying $25 a month from the start for 2 years. So if you take $25 a month times 12 months for the first year, that equals $300. So you're basically covering the cost of the console over the course of a year. But now, after that second year, you are spending $10 more a month, because instead of having the Games Pass for $15 a month, you're actually spending $25, because you're still in that 2-year agreement. So there's two ways to look at it. Basically, the perk is you're going to be spending less upfront and dividing that over 2 years. So it's a good marketing strategy when it comes to the Microsoft side.
Okay.
But is that
So
enough? Go ahead.
I looked up the Game Pass.
Okay, so talk about Game Pass, Mary. Like, what exactly are we getting from that?
So, from what it says, you're getting access to over 100 high quality games with new titles added all the time. So you get chance when you have it, you can use it to play directly on your console, your PC, and Android devices via cloud. It also comes with Xbox Live Gold, and once the merger, which was already approved. But once EA gets their stuff together, you also get a EA Play membership with that as well as exclusive member discounts and free perks.
So those last two things, like any company says, oh yeah, you get free perks, you get all this, you get all that. But
Yeah.
so yeah, EA does have they're more known for like their sports titles. However, they do have some great titles. They got the Star Wars license, they have the Need for Speed
Mm-hmm.
franchise as well. But
If you're
I
a
mean,
Sims
it's
player,
cool.
you get that.
Yeah, you get Sims. So, I mean, it's a great feature to have for somebody that's not into the diehard gaming and needs the full graphic capability of these consoles. Because one thing that nobody mentioned during their panels or their conferences, I guess, is that these are 4K resolutions. So 4K is now going to be the new, or starting to become the new 1080p resolution for your televisions. Now 4K is not quite there yet in terms of being readily available for everybody. I believe 8K uh, is starting to roll out on very few, or they got like super 4K TVs. I don't even know. Um, but to have the full capability for your PS5 or your Xbox One X, you have to have a 4K series TV. So that's another thing to consider. If you don't have the capability to purchase that television, the Xbox One S is a perfect little device. So you get the full capability of playing your Xbox games versus not having to spend more money on a television. Uh, Now, just because you don't have a 4K TV doesn't mean you can go ahead and not play those games. It just
You
won't
just won't
be
have
at a
the quality.
4K resolution. It's kind of like if your TV is only 720p, it's only going to be whatever your TV can put out. So it's a great thing, but uh, there's just different things to consider, the pros and cons. But when it comes to for me, and I believe for Mary as well, what really sells the consoles are the software titles. Now, if you don't have software, your console's going to fail. We've seen that.
Exactly.
We've seen that throughout history with Nintendo specifically. I believe Xbox has to come up with something because Halo Infinite was supposed to be a launch title. Heard that got pushed back, so that's not a launch title. So that's something that's not going to entice people to go buy an Xbox. But for Sony's side, you are getting Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
You're getting
That's
Final
a
Fantasy.
Final 16.
Yeah.
That's a launch title.
Yeah. I believe it
Wow.
is. I know they announced it.
I don't know if that's a launch title or not. I know it's an exclusive, but shoot, if that's a launch title, then I got to go ahead and make sure that I can
I'm
procure one.
wondering if Ragnarok is a launch title as
No, that
well.
one is not. That one was just a teaser saying, "Oh, God of War is coming, people." Like we all knew God of War was going to be coming, but not this soon. Like in our previous PlayStation video or video game video discussing this, we didn't expect Spider-Man to be announced this soon. So that's an actual title that's going to be available at launch on day one when you purchase your PlayStation 5. So there are many other titles too. I forget off the top of my
Let's
head.
see. We
Um,
have Godfall, Devil May Cry 5, Fortnite, Destruction All Stars, Demon's Souls, Astro's Playroom, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Let's see if we have anything else.
Sackboy, for people that Sackboy is a Little Big Planet. So I guess they changed the name on it. So
Um,
yeah, it's there's all in all there are more launch titles for Sony this time around
yeah.
than there are, because usually Xbox always had a lot more launch titles available at launch, but not this time. Sony went ahead and made sure that they have more titles available at launch. So it looks like also both versions of the PlayStation 5 are bundled with Astro's Playroom, a 3D platformer game designed to show off some of the interactive features of the
Oh,
DualSense controller.
Watch Dogs as well.
Watch Dogs, okay. That's not necessarily new though. It's just another title
Mm,
being released, but
mm,
it's something. It's
yeah.
something. Because with Nintendo, the reason why the Switch is exceedingly successful is because they have third-party support and they actually have titles available. They had it at launch when Nintendo Switch was released. They released it with Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
Then a year later, they had Mario. So they made sure that they had a game that people were going to be buying for that reason. So, um, yeah, so that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. You're looking at 500, 400, or $300. But the question is now you're probably asking is, how do I get one? So let's start off with the easier question. Answer is Microsoft. Microsoft is a little bit easier. At the time of this video, we are recording this on Sunday, September 20th. This video will be uploaded probably tomorrow. So today, September 21st, whenever you watch this video, it might be past it by the time you guys watch it, but September 22nd, I forget what time
Tuesday.
exactly.
I believe it is 8 a.m. our time,
So
I
8
believe.
a.m. 8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, September 22nd is when Xbox Series One X and S, that gets pretty tongue twister to say after a while. That's a horrible, horrible name. Uh, those go live for pre-orders and they come out, I believe, I forget which console comes out first, but in November, but either way, both consoles are within 2 days launch of each other. I forget which one comes out first, but it honestly doesn't matter because pre-orders have gulped up every one of them, if gulped up is even the right word to use. They've all sold pretty much is how I wanted to say
Yeah,
it.
8
So
a.m.
8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, September 22nd. So check out your local retailers for that. Now, in terms of the payment plan, only specific retailers are offering that, but more, I think it's more exclusive to the Microsoft stores, the Microsoft.com.
I
They
know
got the
GameStop is offering it.
GameStop, they offer everything. So yeah, I mean, yeah, GameStop offers everything, but you got to be careful with them. Let's just put it that way to
Yeah,
say it
especially
lightly.
with how their games are. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a GameStop fan at all. However, they did have so GameStop did do certain things right, I guess, if you want to call it. So let's just
Did
wrap
they
up the Xbox.
really?
Let's just wrap up the Xbox. Tuesday, September 22nd is when you're getting the consoles for pre-order. Now, let's talk about Sony. This I was actually
Oh
thinking
God.
about. I was thinking about this yesterday actually, and I was thinking everybody was watching the Sony event. It was
Yep.
1 o'clock Pacific time on Thursday.
Yep.
It was a Thursday, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I should go head out to a GameStop like while everybody's watching this because Sony, let's just start off with how it all happened up. And Mary, you actually signed up for it. So what did Sony say on your emails when it came to
So
pre-ordering?
earlier this month, I believe it was the second, Sony sent out an email to, I want to assume, everyone that active P account. And in the email, it was pretty much an invite to where if you were interested in pre-ordering the PlayStation 5, based off of your PlayStation or your PSN activity, they would send out invitation links to pre-order the PlayStation 5. Considering that with COVID and everything that's going on, they knew pre-orders would be very limited. So this pretty much would guarantee a select few people to actually be able to pre-order once pre-orders started. Um,
Select people.
and we'll just go with the basically they were saying that it would promise them if they got it, but story. Now, as far as with that, They never said when the pre-orders were launching or anything. Now, fast forward to the had that Danny was just mentioning. They gave out they gave out the release date. We even got the price point. Nothing was ever said about pre-orders or anything like that. Next thing you know, you're on Twitter and it's like, oh yeah, pre-orders just started here. And then I know myself and a few other people I know, we were scrambling, trying to pre-order, but unfortunately, same story as it always is when it comes to bots and everything else. Websites started crashing, and anything that you can possibly think of would happen, happened. Real close to getting my hands on one, but long story, doesn't matter. Um, so from there, later on, after a lot of the pre-orders from different stores or various stores already came out, Sony announced, oh yeah, we're going to start our pre-order process on, what was it, Friday? No. I think the announcement was Wednesday.
So from what I remember, the panel was Thursday.
No, I think the panel was Wednesday.
I forget. Today's Sunday. So either way, from my recollection is the panel was on Wednesday or Thursday, but the pre-orders were supposed to go live the next morning. From my understanding, is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
allegedly.
So hypothetically speaking, if the panel was on a Thursday, there was no. It was.
Yeah,
Wait,
because
was it Wednesday? I forget what day it was.
it was Wednesday. And the reason
So
why I say
Wednesday.
that is because Friday was the 18th. So we were hearing that they were going to announce, or not announce, but release the pre-orders on Thursday, the 17th. But they went live on Wednesday, if you
Right.
remember.
Right. They went
Yeah,
live right after the
like an
panel.
hour after, I believe.
To be honest, I think it might have been during
Maybe.
because so there were only GameStop was the only retailer that allowed you to walk into a store and pre-order right there. I think they required a $50 deposit.
Yeah.
I had one of my friends go to two or maybe three GameStop. I know he went to at least two of them, and they sold out by the time we even got there. And both stores told him that they only received about 20 units of the PlayStation 5. Now it's 20 units of not just 20 of the physical and 20 of the digital. That's 20 total.
Period.
And from my understanding, from the past, not my understanding, but like from past history, uh, take the Xbox 360 for example. When they first sold or first were released, uh, I don't know why, but I was waiting in the back of a Walmart to get an Xbox 360, and I was the very last one to get it. But they had one with the hard drive and one without the hard drive, and they had 40 because they gave out 40 tickets, and they had a timestamp of when you were there. So basically, the timestamp shows what number you were in line. I was 40 out of 40, and they had it was 18, or no, I'm sorry, 14 of the uh, 40 were the ones with the hard drive, and the rest were hard drive less. Because if you think about it from a business perspective, when you are manufacturing something, you want to sell more of the cheaper items because those have a higher profit margin. For
Exactly.
Sony, for Sony to and for Sony and Microsoft to develop a physical drive for your discs and Blu-rays to incorporate that, it costs them more money to do that versus having to strike out that labor cost and have only digital versions. It's more cost effective and gives you a higher profit margin. That's why Nintendo, they are no longer manufacturing, from my understanding, they are no longer manufacturing regular versions of the Switch as often as they should be, because they are trying to push out more of the Switch Lights.
And they just retired the 3DS.
They just retired a 3DS, so that's another thing that they're stopping producing. So when it comes to Nintendo products specifically, they are very, once they're gone, they're gone. And they're kind of more difficult to find in third-party shops, whether online or at retro gaming stores. but the whole point of it is it's they make more on the cheaper products overall. So that's why the Switch Lite is selling more. So the whole point of that is that they can send out more of the digital versions only. So fast forward to this time, out of the 20 or so that GameStops are receiving, I would probably say anywhere from six, they may even go 50-50, but I can say 6 to 8 of those 20 will be the physical editions, and then the rest will be digital versions. Um, Now, as far as accessories go, I have not seen, I know one of our mutual friends, I think I don't know if he actually procured one from the group chat, but he said that he bought the media remote, the headphones, he went all out um,
Yeah.
for this stuff. But I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to like, how do I put this? When you're actually pre-ordering something, but because I don't know how the pre-orders went. If you're able to pre-order the physical or digital, I think you can actually procure one. But I guarantee you, there's going to be some confusion at launch and everything. There's going to be selling out quickly. I do know that the video game, the discs are going to be now retailed at $69.99.
Yeah.
That is one thing that, so all the video games now for this next gen are $10 more, uh, whether it's digital or physical. It doesn't make any sense. So if you want to think of it as a long-term savings cost, the $100 more for the physical edition is worth your while, because you can go ahead and sell your games and make money back and stuff, versus digital. Once you have it, you're stuck with it, um, and you can't sell it again. So yeah, so GameStop is pretty much, if you're looking to buy a PlayStation 5 or yeah, because Microsoft is this week. If you're looking to buy a PS5 from GameStop, don't even bother, because they are sold out even at launch. I believe they have a 3-day holding period too for people that do not pick up their pre-orders.
Yeah.
So you have to do that. So, um,
Um.
but that's only the GameStop fiasco. So Mary and I were on different retailing sites or retailers, and we were trying to find any retailer. We almost had luck with Target. Uh, Target crashed. Uh,
Yeah. Best Buy
Best
crashed. So did GameStop. At least for me.
GameStop, Walmart went up and down. Even Amazon. Amazon released theirs technically on the right date. They did it at 9:01 p.m. Pacific time, so that's 12:01 Eastern. So technically they did it on the right date, but there are a lot of people upset with either if it was Sony dropping the ball, or in my opinion, I think it was the retailers
Well, it was
dropping the
Sony.
ball.
And the
So
reason why I say that is I don't know if you read it or if anyone. Well, I'm sure other people have read it, but I was on Twitter. I believe it was yesterday. I saw this, and Sony pretty much knew that they dropped the ball when it came to the pre-ordering process, and they really apologized for it. And they did say that they were working on getting more pre-orders out there within the next coming weeks. So if you haven't gotten your hands on one, there's still a chance.
yeah, but like if I was Sony at this point, I wouldn't even bother with pre-orders anymore. I would just say, you know what, we are going to work around the clock to produce as many PS5s as possible to make sure it's not just manufacturing them. That's one aspect, but it's the distributing them is the bigger hurdle nowadays, because I believe they're
Yeah.
coming from across the pond. So
Yeah.
they actually have to get over here for that launch. If I was Sony, I would say we're working around the clock to ship out as many as we can, so you don't have to worry about pre-orders. Go to the store, line up at the store at 8 o'clock or whatever it is, or in this
Oh,
case,
you would have to be
people
there before 8 o'clock.
camp out like back in the old days of doing it. There were no pre-orders.
Ugh.
The last time I actually pre-ordered something uh, in store was I waited in front of a GameStop for the Wii, the original Wii. I camped out 7 hours in front of a GameStop, and that was just to pre-order it. And it wasn't
Oh
even for me.
man,
It wasn't even for me. It was
I
for
went through
my,
something similar for the Wii.
yeah, I did that, and it was funny because remember a police officer drove by and he saw the line. He's like, "What's this for? What's coming out?" And we all said, "Nothing's coming out today." And he was just confused. It's like, "Yeah, it comes out in 3 months." And he just drove off, like, unbelievable. So yeah, if I was Sony, I would just try to produce as many as you can, get them out the store shelves as soon as possible, and you know, in time, people, if you want a PlayStation 5, you will be getting it. I'm sure we may even have a follow-up video for people that want the Xbox One X or S. Um, that one may or may not be in the same boat in terms of availability with pre-orders and everything. Because as much as we are more Sony biased, I guess you can call us, uh, Microsoft and Xbox has a huge following as well. So there's a huge demand for these next gen consoles. But like we mentioned earlier, you have to have the software for it to sell. Because right now also you can't even find a Nintendo Switch anywhere on shelves to begin with. And if you do happen to go like on Target.com or Walmart and they say they have it in stock, the inventory is not up to date online. I see people show up at Target doors right at 7:30, wait a half hour, and they don't even have the Switch in stock. But um, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. So if people wanted to pre-order it, you basically SOL right now until November. You never know what could happen. But long story short is the pre-orders were supposed to be released at a certain time and date. Everything was about a day early,
Yep,
and
everything went haywire.
everything that was supposed to be promised to VIP Sony fans and stuff like that that signed up for the notifications, none of that mattered. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much where it's at a standstill. Um, but for me personally, and we'll go ahead and finish off this with the last comments here. But for Mary, what console do you prefer? Obviously, we already know that, but when? So let's go ahead and ask, when do you plan on getting one, or when do you want to get one? And how far out could you wait to hold out? Because I know you have a 4K TV, so I know you're good to go.
Yeah.
But are you like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want it at launch? Could you wait till the holidays? Because you know Black Friday, there's going to be no sales on these things, regardless. But
No. Black Friday,
um,
I plan on getting something else.
and
But
so
oof.
yeah, how far out can you wait? How bad is the hype for you? Do you want it right now? And also, what games would you pick up for your PS5? And also, which version of the PlayStation would you want?
Okay. Well, for sure, I'm getting the disc version. Um,
Smart, smart.
yeah, various reasons. Now, as far as with game title, of course, Spider-Man. That's if I can get my hands on that one. And
Could
for
always
that,
go
I'm not
digital.
sure
That's
if
one
I
thing.
want to get the launch version, the ultimate version, or just the standard. Not sure yet. Now, as far as when I'm going to get the system, at this point, if I cannot get my hands on a pre-order, which very slim to none, I'm honestly not in a rush to get it. So, considering I have other priorities right now, so I'm I'm not going to be out there fighting people for the system as much as I want
Yeah, nothing
it.
in this world is worth, especially in now in today's conditions, there's nothing worth going out to stores. Because with me, I've loved to go out to stores just for like figure hunting and stuff like that, but I've kind of stopped in the last couple months just because of what's going on out there. Only if it's like something that I actually want, but as far as like browsing, I just, there's no need to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
most of my stuff is online now.
yeah. So now, a question is, if you don't get a PS5, Mary, are you going to pick up Spider-Man on PS4, or are you going to hold out till you get a PS5?
I'm going to hold out until I get it on the PS5. There's no point in getting
Makes
it on
sense.
both systems.
I made that mistake with Breath of the Wild. Bought it for the Wii U, and then I ended up finding a Switch in West Covina at a GameStop, some random spot mall, and ended up just starting over on Breath of the Wild and Switch, and it's a little bit better, but okay, so you're in a more, I want it, but I'm not going to fight it. I'm kind of in the same way, but I'm I'm not going to go out and physically look for it because with me, I didn't get a PlayStation 4 until like I think about a year later, whenever Battlefront was released. This first Star Wars Battlefront. That's when I
Yeah.
actually got my PlayStation 4 because that's when games were available and everything.
Yeah.
But I had an Xbox One, and that's what was holding me over. At the time, I had more friends on Xbox, and then we all kind of I stopped talking to them for whatever reason. Then I switched over to PlayStation. So for me, I didn't get a PS4 until I want to say maybe it was like 3 or 4 years after launch because I had the Xbox One. Um,
Mm.
but I have a PlayStation 4, but I also have the classic Darth Vader one. So for me, I can't sell my PlayStation 4. That's always going to be with me because it's a special collector's edition. If
Lucky.
I happen to find it, yeah, it's true. If I happen to find a PlayStation 5, yeah, I'll consider it, but I'm only going to consider the physical edition,
Yeah.
just because the digital version, um, I like to still I'm still old school. I like to hold physical items in my hand. I still buy CDs when I can. Still buy Blu-rays. That's a Freudian slip. Buy the physical copies of movies. Um, so yeah, I go ahead and go with the PlayStation 5 physical edition. For the Xbox Series One X, not interested at all because I can play those on my Microsoft, not Microsoft. I can play them on my PC.
PC.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, the Xbox Series One S for $25 a month, it did kind of like I threw like those sticky hands on a wall, and it
Hmm.
stuck. Like it stuck for a while. I'm like, well, maybe I could play with this. Maybe I couldn't. The sticky thing just fell off. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of over it now. But
Well, you can always come over here to play it
that's
since
true.
we're a split household anyway.
That's true. Yeah, but you're gonna be getting both over there, the X and the PS5, more than likely.
No, we will,
Yep,
unfortunately.
yep, yep. Because
We still
there
have the
are
debates to this day.
there are two people living in that household, and there are one's Sony, one's Xbox, and they cannot come to an agreement.
We
So,
can't.
so they just won't even say forget about it, and just go Nintendo. But that's for another day.
Well, I
Um,
mean, we do have Nintendo, but
see,
it's not the same.
it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Now, for me, I may pick up Spider-Man though on PS4 just because I don't have a 4K TV and I platinumed the first Spider-Man game. I'm like halfway through platining them. If that's even the word. There you go, Danny. If that's a word. The DLC downloadable content. Man, my mind is fried right now. Like thinking of different things. But
Well,
yeah, I may pick up Spider-Man at launch for PS4. Other than that, I can wait for the PS5 just because throughout history of video game consoles, the first waves, with the exception of like 1 year's launch, I think it was like PS2.
yeah,
Usually there are like a lot of hardware bugs and stuff like that that they need to tinker out because even though they test them at their hard or warehouse hardware, they test the hardware at their warehouse they it's not mass produced and then sent out to thousands of people and then get the feedback on that hardware. So I usually like to wait like 6 to 8 months before getting something like that, especially on a purchase of $500
yeah.
plus tax, which is like plus a game, plus a controller, plus it adds up and stuff. But um, it is a very cool console. I do like it. I will be getting one eventually. I just don't know when. But for Spider-Man, I don't think I can wait for that game. So I will be probably picking that up at launch for PS4. Other than that, I mean, there's no other closing thoughts here. I mean, that's pretty much it. Now it's just the waiting game until November. Uh, any final thoughts, Mary, on this next gen console war?
Um, which, well, the only, eh, lost my train of thought.
Me
Starting to
too.
get Danny's,
It's just flowing through the internet.
yeah, so, ultimately, I guess the really thing, I mean, we all know how my stance on it. I mean, I hope I've been clear. as far as with which ones I'm interested in, and vice versa. But as far as thoughts, we want to know, which system are you guys planning on getting?
Which console are you getting? Which version of the consoles are you guys getting? Can you guys wait? Or another option, I guess, could be you guys aren't getting any of the consoles because you are uh, a PC player, or you're diehard Nintendo, or whatever the case may be. Let us know
Also,
your thoughts.
let us know your pre-order successes and misses.
Yes, we do want to know about that because with our group of friends and throughout the internet, we follow a lot of forums and stuff, but we have close friends that are heavy gamers, and none of them had success on getting this console just because Sony dropped the ball. I believe that if things were done right, I think we've all had a fair chance, but
Are things
um,
ever done right at this point?
no, this whole year has been completely bonkers,
Thanks,
and
2020.
and it's pretty funny. Like this whole year of pre-ordering and getting stuff, like I was too drained to like go and hunt down online, like searching the retailers to try to find a PS5 because I just been through that song and dance so often in the past couple months with chasing figures and stuff like that. And now this week we have Hasbro PulseCon, which is going to
Ooh,
be another fiasco of trying to find stuff. That is basically Hasbro, their Comic Con
yeah,
panel 2 months later because they wanted to have the spotlight solely on them. Go figure. So,
yeah.
but yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys and gals. Basically, we want to know if you were successful in getting a pre-order. Go ahead and comment below. If you guys like this video, go ahead and click that like button. Click that notification bell for more videos. We are back now. We consider this now season 2 of Geeky Ent. It has
We
been
had a little bit
almost
of a
a
hiatus,
little bit of a hiatus. As you can
personal
see,
reasons, but we're back now.
we are good to go now. We will be doing more unboxings, more video game plays, more podcasts. We are going to be doing a Lego Mario series that's in the works right now in development. We will be doing a Funkoverse uh, board game
We still need to do that. Yeah.
slash D&D type role-playing game. I don't know what it is, but it sounds fun. So we'll be working on that. But until then, my friends, don't forget to subscribe. Bleh. Don't forget to subscribe to Geeky Ent
Like and share.
and comment as well because it helps the algorithm with our channel. And tell your friends about us. I'm sure anybody who's in the geek community will love our videos. Until then, we will see you on the next video, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.